Another one don't happen for Imo State again. They tell us say the judiciary na the last hope of the common man. But wetin dey happen, we now find it difficult to believe really that these people are the last hope of common man. Because of the kind of judgment that is emanating from them, we find it difficult to believe such a thing. The House Rep member representing Ideato North and South constituency in the House of Representatives, Ugochinyere Ikenga. This man, when I saw him speaking at the House Rep, I said that this man really has the interests of the masses at heart, and I think that his constituency really voted for him. But the breaking news right now is that Tribunal has sacked the man and also ordered for a supplementary in that constituency, excluding him and his party out of the supplementary. Let me not talk too much because the first video I wanted to bring, he was really talking angrily in that video, but thank God he has granted an interview to Arise TV where he calmed down to explain the things that happened in that court and how everything come out to be the way the thing is now. As I'm watching it, try to share the video, like it, comment, and follow my page, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. We move.
State House of Assembly Election Petitions Tribunal has sacked Ikenga Ugochinyere from the House of Representatives. Ikenga was elected under the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and is the chairman of the House Committee on Petroleum Resources H0n. In a unanimous decision, a three-member panel of the tribunal, which conducted its proceedings in Nasarawa State, held that Ugochinyere was not validly nominated by the PDP to contest the Ideato North-South Federal Constituency election, which was held on February 25. Consequently, the tribunal ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to within 90 days conduct a supplementary election in the constituency. The tribunal, in its lead judgment that was delivered by its chairman, Justice Anthony Apovi, specifically directed the electoral body to conduct the supplementary poll in 55 polling units, where elections were not held on February 25. The court held that the PDP and its candidate should be excluded from the supplementary election. In a swift reaction, the federal lawmaker from Imo State, Ikenga Ugochinyere, vows to vigorously challenge the election judgment that nullified his victory at the polls in February at the Court of Appeal, saying he is determined to reclaim his mandate with everything he has. Joining us now on the morning show is Honorable Ikenga Ugochinyere, PDP, Ideato North-South Federal Constituency. Good morning, Honorable Ugochinyere, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Ruben, for having me this morning.
Well, quickly, I just read that you have decided to challenge the decision of the tribunal in court. The tribunal saying, well, you were not validly nominated, that, the primaries which produced you took place outside the constituency in violation of Section 29 of the Electoral Act. So what's next? Are you already preparing, are your lawyers already preparing to go to the Court of Appeal? And what are your chances, really? Because that judgment seems to be so, declaratory, to the extent that the tribunal even said PDP and your good self should be excluded from the supplementary election.
Thank you so much. Yes, of course, we are headed to the appeal. And also it's very important that, just like you said, it's very painful that the tribunal that left Owerri on the ground of insecurity and knowing very well the situation in Imo State during the primary that made the PDP write to INEC because of the state of emergency of insecurity in Imo State, especially in Ideato, where activities of unknown gunmen was very high, to have the primary in the capital city of Owerri. And this matter was challenged in court by the APC and the Labour Party. And the court, the Federal High Court, held that the reason for moving the primary to the capital city because of the insecurity was legitimate and legal. And not only that, also, the court made it very clear that going by the fourth alteration, as members of the APC and Labour Party, they don't have the locus to challenge the primary election of the People's Democratic Party. This matter went on appeal. Some of them went to Supreme Court. I won all of them, and we went to election. And we had a resounding victory in an election that I was not in Imo State when it held. The people that went to this court came third and won only 1 polling unit out of 346 polling units. And it's also very painful that you will understand that just a few days ago, even before this judgment, there have been about 25 judgments on this issue of internal party issues and venue of primary and post-election issues. Of particular interest, if you permit me, is to remind you what the justices of the Court of Appeal said in the case of P2B when they read the Supreme Court judgment in PDP versus INEC. It said that the position of the law has always been that no political party can challenge the nomination of the candidate of another political party. The position did not change in Section 285(14)(c) of the Constitution. No matter how pained or disgruntled the political party is with the way and manner another political party is conducting or has conducted its affairs concerning the nomination of candidate for any position, you must keep mum and remain on lookout for it like the locus standing to challenge such nominations in court. It's on this ground that the court held that the challenge against P2B's membership of the Labour Party was baseless and then struck it out. And it's important, you need to remember the case of APC versus INEC in 2019 and AMPP versus NALA in 2008, where the court held it clear that any issue of disqualification or nomination ineligibility that is outside the four walls of Section 66 of the Constitution is incoherent, is untenable, and is complete waste of the judicial time of the court. So that is why we are going to appeal court to challenge this judgment, which runs against the express provisions of the Constitution and other enabling laws and judicial precedent that have been delivered recently.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Ugochinyere. So you presented your case, but that's meant to be before the appeal court, don't you think? Because talking about this, the tribunal has ruled, and the only option, if you were to overturn that ruling, would be for you to approach the appeal court, which is what you're going to do. What do you think we can't even talk about your chances because that's again up to the justices.
I'm not hearing you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, okay. So what would you want in terms of, what's your plea? What's the case with, what's your plea to the appeal court if you do, well, since you've decided to challenge the ruling of the tribunal?
One is to involve in its entirety the judgment of Justice Akpovi-led tribunal for having no legal basis. And you need to understand, to restate that same principle, that this is a pre-election matter, and this primary held because of the insecurity. And not only that, the person that is challenging this thing from APC came third in the election and shamefully won 1 polling unit. One is important, I emphasize on this, 1 polling unit out of 346. So it's a mandate that is so resounding. It's a mandate that is very popular. It's a mandate that is legal. So I'll be asking them to reverse this injustice, this manifest injustice, and reinstate the will of our people expressed at the general election that we won landslide. And you need to also know that the National Assembly Election Petition Tribunal Court 2 that sat in the same Maraba some few days ago upheld the election of other members of the House of Rep from Imo State whose primary held in the same venue. So it was very shocking that ikenga's own and the new principles that are not backed by any non-judicial precedents are being read out just to stop me. I have strong confidence, and I want to repeat that. I have strong confidence in the judiciary and in the appeal court, and I hope strongly that this injustice will be reversed by the justices of the appeal court.
Okay. I'd like to ask you this. Some people have also cited other paths, for differences as regards your thought process. You know, they cited other portions of the Constitution. But I'd like to ask you this. Do you think there's any political slants to all of this? Because you've been in the eye of the storm constantly politically.
This thing would have been a very easy and peaceful process if not because of the interference of Uzodimma.
How are you sure? Can you prove it?
Process. You know, from...
Can you prove it, Mr. Ugochinyere? Can you prove it?
You have forgotten... You have forgotten that even on your station and TVC, after the attack, when he said that I'm not electable, I'm not popular, I cannot win an election, and he will beat me any day, any time in ideato. But we went into that election to show him that he's not God. I was not in Imo State. I was not near the election. And we won all the polling units almost. His candidate had 1 out of 346. His own wife lost her polling unit. All his commissioner lost their polling unit. So all his utterances, all his actions, all his fabricated charges of murder, terrorism, arson, rape, and so on and so forth, which I keep on shouting about, we are all aimed at stopping me from participating in the election. The boast that he had been making left, right, and center. But the good thing about this is that after all those things, we still won a landslide victory, and our people trusted us and gave us that mandate. And we're confident that this manifest injustice will be reversed.
Can you prove to me that Governor Uzodimma has a hand in this judgment by the tribunal? That's what I ask you. Can you prove to me? Because you said, oh, it's because of Uzodimma. When I asked, is there political, and said it's because of Uzodimma. So can you prove to me, where's your proof that Governor Uzodimma has a hand in this judgment of the tribunal? Where's your proof?
Because of the great respect I have for members of the judiciary, there are certain things I cannot speak on air. But there are some things that you already, from the processes leading us to this particular moment, you already don't need to be told. Even some of the journalists that travel all the way to Maraba by the night to cover the event, you know the person that sent them because of what is possibly expecting to be the outcome. But there's some comments I will keep off air. But I don't need, you're not a baby. I don't need to tell you how we got to this particular point. And all this offensive in the last 2 years, both to kill me, both to destroy me, both to burn down my house, both to attack me on election day, before election day, and so on and so forth, all aimed at achieving the purpose of Ikenga cannot be in the House of Rep. But at the end of the day, I warn him even from outside the state, showing the superiority of God and the confidence our people have in us. So I don't need to go further on that because of the respect I have for the institution of the judiciary. But when the time comes, we'll talk about that.
Well, Ugochinyere, I mean, you've argued your matter so eloquently on television, but I guess, you know, it's up to the courts to look at the details, and every matter, of course, will be treated on its own merit. But I see our election petitions have turned everybody into very eloquent lawyers, quoting precedents, quoting cases. I wish you were the one in front of the court, you know, arguing your matter yourself. But in any case, I guess there's very little we can say at this point. We just wait. You know, till you go to the Court of Appeal and hope that your lawyers will do due diligence. Okay?
Well, thank you so much. I don't know.
So
I mean, we've talked about the matter and we look forward to how this will progress. And once that's been established, hopefully we can have you again on the show to discuss further. But I know, before we let you go, Honorable Ugochinyere, is there anything you'd like to say, especially with regards to the entire process so far in terms of your elections, some of what the opposition has tabled before the courts, and also, what's going on in the House currently, your experience thus far?
Well, the most important thing here is that I don't want people to be looking at this as a ikenga. We are talking about challenges our institution is facing, both our electoral institution and our judicial institution. And for those people who are playing these things that is disturbing, to understand that one day you may be on the other side. The only way society can work is that there are strong institutions, not just the electoral institution, but the judicial institutions. Elections should only be determined by the will of the people. Anything outside that is illegitimate and unacceptable. And I must say that this has also opened, the need for further elections electoral reform, because each time we try to amend the electoral process, these politicians find a way to undermine it. You can see what is happening with the beavers accreditation. You can see what the court is saying, that you must bring all the beavers machines to court. These things are worrisome. I think we must find a way to ensure that these institutions are strengthened and understand that the only way we can make progress is that these institutions are strong and independent, and anybody can go before this institution and get justice. Because it pains me that somebody defeated, he had one polling unit out of 346, can be dragging us up and down because somebody doesn't like my face. This is not how to build democracy. This is not how to build institutions. So I'm praying and hoping that Nigerians should understand that this is a matter of national survival and come around to find a way to put this nation on the path of sustainable growth.
Right. Thank you so much, Honorable Ugochinyere. I think we've pretty much exhausted most of it, so we'll see how your time goes in court, and if there are further things to talk about.